So this unit here is what caused me a lot of pain today. Let's talk about it. Hi, this is James Gardner, the Cinetech Geek, and today we're going to talk about keeping old DCI cinema players going. As you know, it's a bit of a sunset period for cinema, with the returning to cinema after the pandemic has been very slow. And a lot of cinemas are thinking twice about reinvesting in a 10-year purchase of a DCI player. So in this video, we're going to talk about how to keep those things running probably a bit longer than their rated lifespan. Because, you know, until you're ready to commit to another 10-year purchase, it's probably the best thing to do. So let's talk about that in this video. So this is a typical Dolby IMS 2000 rebadged NEC version with the S02 here, as you can see. It's basically what you'll see in many players around the world. The Dolby is a very popular player. And as you can see straight away off the top, the drives that are in here are non-standard domestic drives. This has become very common in the industry because these players are no longer officially supported by Dolby. They do have some recommended drives, but they can be hard to get or quite expensive. And to tell you the truth, I've been using these very common off-the-shelf 2 terabyte drives without a problem for about 4 years now. They do cause a few more smart errors, but usually still say the drive is healthy, which indicates everything is fine, and they do work very well. They're not as reliable, but they're basically a quarter of the price of buying something which is recommended. So, you know, your mileage may vary. In my biggest problem that I had with this unit, or the unit this one fixed, is on every player there is or something like this, right? I'll get in there close. This is a USB DOM, or it's a little SSD which is used to boot the operating system. Now these are only rated for a certain period of time. Like any USB device, if you write to them too often, they start to error. In this case, that is what happened, and the player started to do some weird things. And, you know, when the player starts to misbehave, obviously $15,000 over $100 fix, obviously you want to get to the point where you know that's the problem and not replace this $15,000 device, because, you know, it's just not really viable at this stage. So I just wanted to talk about what's happening with this, because this happens in all players. They all usually have a very similar solution of some sort of SSD DOM or device which they boot off. And typically these things can be removed, re-imaged and put back in, and all you really need to do is dump back the latest software on it, and particularly restore your device's XML and some other XML files you'll find in the /dorame/etc directory to get it back to basically where it was before, with all the configurations and the devices that are in it and all the automation queues, etc. And so that's really what it takes to get one of these replaced. All the firmware and everything will stay this current version. Anyway, so these are common on most DCI devices. So if, unlike this is an IMS 2000, they'll have something similar device or something similar like this, and these devices do wear out, usually under 10 years. And you don't want to have to replace the whole unit if that occurs, because it's very difficult to diagnose that this is the problem. And some of the issues I'd like to talk about in terms of things you might see if you actually have a problem where this is dying is basically random interface glitches in the web interface, or other sort of non-specific errors are starting to occur. And these are usually a common device which is failing when that occurs. So really keep that in mind, because you don't have to be replacing this whole thing when you can get away with just replacing this device. So those are a few little tricks to get these things going further. When these do fail, you just replace them, re-image them and put them back in and do what I said. Or the hard drives as well, because the recommended hard drives are hard to get or very expensive. You can use, these are roughly $100 each, and you can get them anywhere at any shop. So you don't have to go far to get one. You don't have to, for example, if you're ordering probably a certified drive, going to eBay and waiting months, a month or two to actually get it to arrive, depending on where you order it from, because they are no longer a common device. So jumping to alternatives to keep you going and making it easier to move forward and cheaper to go forward is something that we need to be aware of. So quickly going over what we've learned today is that there are ways to potentially keep some of the older DCI devices operational, and Keep some of these in mind. It is a difficult time in cinema with the recovery still to occur. So take these things on board and make sure that you can survive until the viability of your locations do return, and more likely you'll be ready to buy the newer and faster and better DCI players which are coming out from Dolby and other manufacturers with their machines. Anyway, that's a quick tip from James Gardner, the Cinetech Geek. Bye for now.